I return all the glory back to you. 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 I have seen your mercies in the land of living. I return all the glory back to you.
This time last week, I was saying goodbye to you on this program, and we are grateful to God for brand new week. My guest today, our name is Funmi Dominic Olaoye. May I use this opportunity to tell you that stick to your Facebook, stick to your YouTube, stick to your Instagram, stick to your TikTok and your Twitter. As you know how we do it on this program, it is time to watch my artist video, and when we come back, we go into the conversation.
In the territory of Gerizim, on the other side of Lake Galilee, there was a man who lived in tomb. So many times his feet were changed, but every time he broke the chains, no one could tame him. He was so strong. Day and night, wandering around amongst the hills, screaming and cutting himself. Jesus stepped in to set him free. He was set free, and he said, I am free, I am free, I am free. A woman had a blood issue. She had suffered for many years. She went around with no results and found no one would be of help. Bled and bled for many years, spent all she had, but she got worse. When she heard of Jesus, she got a hope, saying, if I touch his clothes, I will be well. Jesus stepped in to set her free. She was set free, and she said, whoa, 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 yeah, yeah,
My sister, you are live and direct on Artist and Lyrics program, and I would like you to greet our audience in song.
So the first song I'll be singing today is titled Iṣẹ́ Olúwa kò lè bàjẹ́. So Iṣẹ́ Olúwa kò lè bàjẹ́ means God's work never goes back, literally. Iṣẹ́ Olúwa kò lè bàjẹ́ o. Iṣẹ́ Olúwa kò lè bàjẹ́ o. Ọjọ́ mo ti ń rókun kò gbẹ̀rí, ọjọ́ mo ti ń rọ́ṣà kò máa yá, ọjọ́ mo ti ń rárun kò jálulẹ̀. Iṣẹ́ Elédùmarè ni, iṣẹ́ Olúwa kò lè bàjẹ́ o. Iṣẹ́ Olúwa kò lè bàjẹ́ o. Thank you. I don't want to take
Eshe, what is the journey so far? We would like to hear from you.
Well, I've been into music for like over 30 years now, but I'll say professionally over 25 years. So this is something that I love to do. I have so much passion for. I remember, even since when I was young, because I'm the first of as my siblings, we're 4, and would usually gather together to sing for, when anybody has celebration at home, maybe birthday party or something, would come together in our church, would sing. Also, I was also in the choir in my church when I was growing up. And also, there was a time Nigeria was having Independence Day. They were celebrating Independence Day in Nigeria then. And though we were really young, we just thought of writing a song, for Nigeria's Independence Day. And we just sent it off to BBC. Just said, okay, let's try our luck. Interestingly and amazingly, it was happy BBC. And then as little kids, we were so excited. And you thought that, oh yes, this is, this shows that we can do much more. So of course we continued, to sing. And even when I was in high school, I was the social prefect in my school. So I just had that natural flair for anything artistic, anything song. So I would organize, music shows, drama and stuff like that. So this is something that has always been part of me. And then, of course, when I got into the university, I was singing actively, much more. And while in medical school, because I was trained as a medical doctor. And so while in medical school, I recorded my first album and titled Isheoluwa. That particular, track, got me a nomination at the African Choral Music Awards back then for 2003, most promising female in Africa. But I'd like to tell you that this didn't come easy because I remember, the first day that we had to do the recording of that particular song in the studio, because it was more of, then there was not too much of digital music, so it was more of analog live music, and it was quite expensive to record then too. So I remember then, went to the studio and nothing worked that day. I already had all the instrumentalists and the technical stuff just didn't work. Nothing just worked. And I remember, feeling very disappointed, go back home crying, like this is just, and I had to pay for the session. But I thank God for support that I got from my family, from my dad, from my mom, from my siblings, from Big Sheg, that's Uncle Sheg Modegbami, the popular football player. It was also one of the support I had then. He wasn't the one that introduced me to the studio where I recorded the song. So I recorded the album. So, that was really, really, of course a challenge, but of course I went back. I stood up again. I said, well, I'm not going to give up. And so went on back again, we went to record, and eventually the same, album got me that nomination. So I just want to encourage you today that no matter what the challenges, just stand up to it, face it. It's not going to be there forever. You get into a place where you have to record and things just don't seem to work. Same with my Ifeleduwa video too. And, we traveled to different parts, recorded some parts in Lagos, some part in Ibadan, Nigeria, some parts in Abeokuta, Nigeria. So when we got to Abeokuta, the first day, nothing worked at all. So, but eventually we're able to get by and by. And I know that, God did not tell us that everything is going to be smooth. We should always have that in our mind, that there will definitely be, stumbling blocks. But what's your attitude to this? What do you become after facing these challenges? For me, that's the lesson. So, and that has always helped me. And same with the last recording that I did, the I Am Free song. Of course, recorded that in the midst of COVID. At some point, we're not even sure we're going to get the costumes we wanted to use. We were thinking of the location we're going to use. A lot of work went into it. We had a team, work together for this for a couple of months, before actually coming with the I Am Free recent album video that you'd see maybe later on. So it's a lot of work, and but what carries you through is, firstly, you have to sit down and think, why am I doing this? Do I have that passion to do it? Or am I in something else? Because if you have that passion and something you really love to do, you find yourself doing it anyways, no matter what the challenge is, right? So yes, I'd say it's not been easy, but somehow we get by, and in the end, you sit back and look at your final product and you're happy because you put a lot of work into it and you didn't give up on it.
Yeah. Thank you so much, ma. Now, I would like to go to your new song.
Okay.
The new video you just released. And I must confess that I Am Free is my best video so far this year.
Oh,
and
that's a great compliment.
The song is a powerful song of faith and deliverance. Yes. Some people will ask you that this song focuses on people that already have the knowledge of God. And it's not really talking about how unbelievers will come unto God. Because you're asking us, if you believe, you will have the freedom. You tell the story of a woman of issue of blood. You tell the story of a man who was possessed and how he got his freedom. And, it's a kind of a very interesting biblical story that you tell us in that song. And some of our audience will say, you are not really talking about people who are unbelievers and how they could come to God through that song. How would you defend this kind of question if this is put to you?
Okay, thank you so much for that question. Well, I would actually not agree completely with that because I think the song is not necessarily only for Christians or people that already know Christ. I believe that even people that do not know Christ, even just watching it, I think in a way it's kind of sowing a seed. Like it just brings their remembrance that, okay, maybe they've heard about that name Jesus. So not really because, so for example, when we're recording this song, recording the video, one of the people that was, on the crew that was doing, something, working on this project with us, she saw me singing that part of the woman with the issue of blood, and she said, oh, do you have somebody that, had issue of blood, had some, that kind of illness before, that you're so passionate about the way you're singing this? I said, well, I just smiled, and that gave me so much opportunity to be able to talk to her about Christ and also talk to her about that story, because she knew that, okay, somebody is called Jesus Christ, but she didn't know that story. So, but for her, that was like, a very new thing to her. So that gave me the opportunity to be able to talk to her, and she said, oh, that's interesting, because she never heard of it before. So, and this is someone that, of course, she's not a Christian, but and that's why I said you don't have to be a Christian to kind of enjoy the music. And in that sense, it may not really necessarily make sense to you now, but you know that you've heard that name before Jesus. You can identify that name with someone that does something different, maybe by bringing freedom to people, by healing people. But maybe you now get to another program later in the future. Maybe they find themselves in a church or another program, and then I said, okay, yeah, I think I've heard this name before, and they can relate. In that sense, that music has sown a seed stylishly in that person, but later may now yield forth that fruit later on. And not everybody that listens to it would definitely, accept Christ or whatever, but some people just look at it and be like, okay, yes, I know there's someone called Jesus. But some people, it will have impact in their lives that same time, or maybe later on in the future. So it's not necessarily for Christians, I believe.
Ẹ ṣé púpọ̀ fún àlàyé tí ẹ ti ṣe nípa orin yẹn. That is exactly why we have this program. For you to be able to, express yourself and tell the audience what is, actually going on in your mind when you were writing the song. It's not necessarily mean that you don't want to talk about Jesus Christ to the unbelievers. It's just the way the song, comes, and you have to make it real, because we're actually talking about biblical story, so there's no way you can add or remove from it, because that's the way I will also put it to the audience. So it's biblical story. There's no way you can take away from it or add to it. So it has to be presented to you the way it is written, which I really give you kudos for that, man. Àǹtí wa, ǹjẹ́ ẹ ní ọ̀rọ̀ láti sọ nípa ètò tí a pè ní àwa olórin, òṣèré àti gbogbo ènìyàn tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ ọpọlọ? Kí ni ohun tí ẹ lè sọ nípa ètò yìí?
Ẹ ṣe dáadáa gan ni, in fact mo máa ń gbádùn ètò yìí torí tẹ́ bá ti gbé àwọn òṣèré wá sórí ètò yìí ó máa ń lárinrin gan, mo dẹ̀ máa ń ní ẹ̀kọ́ tèmi gan máa ń kọ́ tí n bá ti wo ètò yìí, so mo máa fẹ́ ní pé kẹ́ encourage yín pé kẹ́ continue láti máa ṣe ètò yìí, especially pé ẹ tẹ̀ fún àwọn òṣèré ní ààyè láti ṣàlàyé orin wọn, láti jẹ́ kí àwọn èèyàn mọ ìtumọ̀ orin yẹn gangan. I mean it's really great, so máa fẹ́ encourage yín pé kẹ́ continue láti máa ṣe eléyìí, and lágbára Ọlọ́run á máa jẹ́ kí kó máa lọ létòlétò, kí everything máa lọ déédéé lágbára Ọlọ́run, á dẹ̀ tún máa ga sí lágbára Jésù.
Thank you so much, big sister Funmi Dominic Olaoye. Jẹ́ ẹ sì fẹ́ fi orin dá wa lára yá kí a tó máa dágbére lórí ètò yìí lọ́sẹ̀ yìí.
Okay, all right, mo lè kọ eléyìí ní èdè Gẹ̀ẹ́sì, so it's called Smile. Hello, how do you do? Hello, how do you do? Hello, how do you do? How do you do? Can I see you smile, smile of joy? Can I see you smile, smile of hope? A glad heart makes a cheerful face, a broken heart. It aches. You're not so sure of what life may bring. It hurts so bad. Oh, shake off your pains, shake off your worries. Don't be dismayed, don't be afraid. Walk with your head high everywhere. Recharge your soul, say life is good. You can't be hurting. Stand on your feet, brighten up your day. Wherever you go, put on a smile. Hello, how do you do? Hello, how do you do? Hello, how do you do? How do you do? Can I see you smile, smile of joy? Can I see you smile, smile of hope? Thank you.
Ẹ ṣé púpọ̀. A dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yín àǹtí wa pé a pè yín lórí ètò yìí tí ẹ sì jẹ́ wa. Ẹ ò sọ pé ọmọdé ni wá àbí ta làwọn tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ níbẹ̀ yẹn. Ọlọ́run tó ti gbé yín sókè kò ní jẹ́ kí ẹ jábọ́ láéláé lórúkọ Olúwa. And until next week when I'll be coming your way on Artist and Lyrics program, it is me, Kunle Major Abikeyin. Ó dìgbà kan náà, ó dàbọ̀. Goodbye. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.